I'm here today with my Model Y, which just came out starting March 13th for deliveries. I took delivery of mine just a week ago, and now I've had the chance to get acclimated to the vehicle and understand the good things and some of the bad things. So today we're going to do a full walkthrough, look at all the features of the Model Y, talk about some of the things I like and some of the things I don't. Getting into the Model Y, just like the Model 3, is simple enough. Just push with your thumb and pull the handle out. Getting into the vehicle, all you have to do is apply your foot to the brake and the vehicle is on. Then just put it in drive and drive away. Now, of course, the inside of the Model Y is very similar to the Model 3. In fact, most of the components are exactly the same. From the screen all the way to the dash. Same steering wheel, and so on. You'll also recognize the center console. It's extremely similar, if not the same, as the Model 3, with some differences. You have a nice deep pocket here. It goes down deep to hold all of your items, and also a spot for your phones, which is nice because in the Model Y, it charges. Looking at the steering wheel, it's very simple. It's the same steering wheel as the Model 3 with your two thumb dials for volume, changing tracks, and also this is how you adjust the steering wheel out and in, up and down, as well as the mirrors. Now, of course, getting out of the vehicle is a little bit different than traditional. There is a lever here, but that's for emergencies only, so pulling that over time, the screen will warn you that it could deteriorate the seals across the top. It's actually a button on all doors. And one thing that I highly recommend is getting stickers, so that way you don't have to explain every time when somebody's in the back seat how to get out of this vehicle. Arguably, the biggest reason why you would have waited for the Y is for the space. Specifically in the cargo, having a hatchback really gives you a lot more space than you do in a traditional trunk like is set in the 3. Also, the second row, those seats fold, which is very convenient, especially when you want to add additional items. They come in a 60-40 split, however the middle seat can fold down independently. The cargo does come with two buttons to mechanically release and drop the seats. There is a little motor, one in each side, and there's also buttons here on the top. When you do that, you'll hear a mechanical motor release and these seats fold. Very convenient. Now, if you want to fold just the middle seat, there is a button on the back to release. With the middle seat folded down, you have a nice pass-through for any longer items. Say you needed some lumber to work on a project at home, or you had skis or whatever you might have that's longer, even golf bags. It'll fit now really nice in between and still have the ability to have two seats up and ready. The only downfall is this bar here. This isn't removable and it doesn't fold away, and nor does it appear that it ever will. That's to hold the seat back in place, and that's not going anywhere. Continuing on with the rest of the space back here, They're fitted with 2 side pockets on both sides. These are nice and deep, and these are really great for small items that you can just tuck away and still have a clean space at the bottom. One of the things to note, this fabric is very fragile. It is kind of soft for a floor mat material, and to further demonstrate that, we had a Velcro item placed on the floor, unfortunately, when we took delivery. So when we got home and I pulled that off, you can see it's already started to fray. Getting a rubber mat back here is going to be very important, and getting it soon. Also, you have 2 compartments underneath, which adds an immense amount of storage space. The first is down here. In a previous video, you might have seen that I was able to put a carry-on piece of luggage here. It's the largest size that you can carry on to an airplane, so that is awesome. I also fit 2 backpacks on top of it. This is very, very deep. And this is what makes the Model Y so much bigger than you actually think that it is. I highly recommend checking out that video if you haven't already. I compared how much stuff I can fit in the back of a Model Y compared to a 3-row SUV. Also, there's one other storage compartment. Although it's smaller, it is kind of nice because you can still get some smaller items here. Like we have our Tesla bag that has the mobile charger and an adapter in it. But you can fit some of the slimmer items and still have them under the floor while still allowing this for much larger items. And of course, when you're ready to close the hatch, there is a button to do that. Continuing on with the back seat, I wanted to show you a nice feature that these back seats have. These actually recline, which is very nice. Simply grab the handle here and you can hear the motor. It allows it to fold. Just put it back in place. But also, if you push it, there's several levels of recline, which is very nice. Also here in the middle seat we have cup holders, which is very nice if you have kids or anybody else in the back seat that might have drinks. Also a nice place to put your arm. There's also a headrest here in case somebody does need to sit in the 3rd seat. And back here, it's pretty comfortable. I have a ton of space back here. Now, admittedly, I'm only 5'6", but that is a lot of room between my legs and the seat in front of me. That kind of gives you an idea of how big and spacious it is back here. It's really comfortable, especially reclined, and it's a nice view. Looking at the floor again, what's nice about electric vehicles like Teslas is that you have a flat floor back here. There's no channel for a transmission or drivetrain that has to fit under here. So this whole floor is completely flat, which is awesome. You have a lot more leg room. You also have room to put items down on the floor to increase your storage capacity. And it's very comfortable. Sitting over here in the middle seat, you definitely sit up higher. It's a stiffer seat, no question about it. But you've got a little spot here that you could put your legs if it was a little tight for a shorter trip. You could still fit an adult here and have somewhere to put your legs. Looking at the front seat, it's almost exactly the same as the Model 3. A lot of the materials are exactly the same, the dashboard as an example. But it's a very nice, clean look, and I've always been into a more simple look without all the busy buttons everywhere. So this suits my style very well. And that is, of course, the front. This front cargo space is so massive. Just like the car itself, it's so hard to show this on video or in pictures scale. Like the size of this thing is huge. I've got my elbow all the way in there. It's huge. It's massive. You can fit a carry-on piece of luggage like I've demonstrated in another video. But this space is so awesome. Just having this and having the space in the back without a gas tank just absolutely gives you so much more space than you would ever imagine just looking at the car from the outside. Now my Model Y is spec'd with the 20-inch induction wheels, and I really like these wheels. Initially when I got my order, I thought that these wheels were going to be a little bit too flat, but now that I have them, it matches the vehicle and the trim very well. All that said, do be prepared when you go to a larger wheel with a smaller sidewall, you are going to have a less comfortable ride. Looking in the back again, you can see that there's definitely a cavity here where you can pop this piece of trim out, and it's believed to be for a trailer hitch. We've seen some out in the wild that had the trailer hitch during the early days, so we know that this vehicle is capable. Furthermore, just the other day, Tesla launched an update on their site that now allows you to order for $1,000 extra. You can get the trailer hitch with the vehicle from the factory. Now, aftermarket, you're likely going to save quite a bit of money, several $100s for sure. However, if you're somebody who likes to get items straight from the factory and have it included in the vehicle's warranty and not ever have to worry about, hey, this vehicle wasn't rated for towing, $1,000 probably isn't too bad of a premium charge for a trailer hitch. So now that I've given you a general overview of the vehicle, let's talk about some of the things that I'm not impressed with. For starters, are you surprised to hear me say anything about panel gaps? It's like a drum repeating itself non-stop on the internet. The panel gaps, none of it lines up. It's not even so much the space, it's that they just aren't straight. That's really annoying. And you can definitely see it exaggerated in certain areas. Now my vehicle, fortunately, the front is not that bad. It's somewhat even across, maybe slightly bigger on the passenger side, but straight, which is what's important. Some of these other gaps, not so much. Another area we pointed out when we took delivery was the tail lights. If you look, you can clearly see that this is not straight. Right there. It's not even set in all the way. And then if you come over to the other side, well, this one is, it's set really nice, and then boom, there's a lot of gap here. It's almost like it's not set in right. And then you can see quite a bit of lip here as well. Another thing I was less than impressed with is, as I started seeing this vehicle every day from the back, you can very clearly see the tailgate and this body panel are two different colors. These do not match. This is a very bright white, and this is almost like a yellowish white. Now, either one is a nice color, but not next to each other. It should all be one uniform color. So I'm not sure why the tailgate is a different color. Perhaps the tailgate gets painted on a different line and not while it's on the vehicle, while these body pieces are maybe connected or in a different line altogether. I'm not sure. Another thing, a lot of these sensors, you can see that there's some, maybe the center cap is painted and then the trim ring is a different color. Some of them are not set in very well, like this one. I'm just worried about longevity, if this is going to be an issue, if it starts to get damaged over time from not being in there properly. In the front bumper area, a lot of these do not line up. You can see that it's offset there. Additionally, it's right here, and there's some paint chip that's missing there. The trim around the wheels is another thing. You can see there's a huge gap here, and this is offset, and I don't know why it's not set in right, but that's really annoying. It's on both sides as well. And you can even see over here where it's not perfectly flush. Another thing, it looks like the way that this thing is molded is to fit that door, but I'm not sure why that doesn't line up straight. Now here's one of the benefits that you get in the Model Y that was not on the Model 3. This plastic piece that runs the length of the vehicle, this is super nice to have. If you've ever looked at any Model 3s in a colder climate where they use salt, this is paint and it gets chipped, and I've seen ones that are rusting, which is terrible. But by having this plastic panel instead, you're impervious to those types of defects just on the conditions of the road that you're in. I also love the satin black trim throughout the vehicle. I think it looks very nice. Way better than a wrap that I would have been able to do on my own or pay for. All this being included is great. I think it looks awesome with the blackout feature. Last note, throughout the vehicle, there's dirt, there's handprints all over the headliner. The seats weren't all very clean. Some of them were kind of scuffed. I was able to address most of it myself, except for the headliner. You can see these couple of dots. I have no idea what those are. That panel is filthy, and you can see handprints from where they tried to press this in place. Some scratches. Now, all those defects and all those shortcomings said, I absolutely love this vehicle. When I ordered the Model Y, I had anticipated probably more than what ended up being the case with this car. I knew after watching the experience a lot of owners had with the Model 3 that there were going to be panel gaps. There was likely to be dust that got caught in paint and created bubbles. There was probably going to be some paint chips, certainly scuffed seats and not clean floors, things like that. I knew going into this that was going to be the case. And in that happening, I wasn't disappointed. Now, I say all this because if you are about to spend $50,000 on a vehicle, which is a lot of money, you need to be prepared. This will not be a $50,000 vehicle experience that you would get with, say, Audi or BMW. You're going to have a seamless, perfect delivered car, or they're going to address it on the spot. That's not so much the case with Tesla. Being a startup company, there's still a lot of opportunity for them to do better, and it's going to take them a long time to do that. But this car is so much better outside of those cosmetic issues that there's no question this is a far superior vehicle. And I'll explain a little bit of that over time. I'll try to do a driving review in another video and kind of explain that. Also, my wife and I did a long, detailed financial review of this compared to other vehicles. I think that it's hard to beat a Model 3 Standard Range Plus when it comes to total value. The Model Y, we needed more space than the Model 3 had to offer, and that's why this vehicle turned out perfect for us. So all that said, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've given a complete overview of the car, talked about some of the defects, talked about some of the things I really like about it, and I hope that this helps you with your buying decision. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and also, if you decide that you want to get a Tesla of your own, please consider using my referral code to get your 1,000 miles of free supercharging. Thanks for watching.